This video is close to 15 minutes long and has been pared down from 2.5 hours. Because our consulting can potentially generate tens of thousands of dollars to literally millions of dollars for our clients, it is important to view. You must make the correct and informed decision. D. Victor Hancock has had a very successful life. However, when he was young, like many young people, he got in trouble a few times. This was almost a half a century ago. Victor's 2 convictions. 1 felony conviction at the age of 14. Victor was on a ride-along with his big brother who burgled his boss's gas station. The young Victor was in the car picking boogers, unaware of what his older brother was up to. Victor's 2nd conviction had 6 felony counts because of 6 stolen items arising from 1 court case, and the 6 felony counts were made and entered into record on one day. These 6 felony counts arose from 1 case in Victor's early 20s. This conviction was related to stolen property. Victor will be the first to tell you that he is responsible for what he did, and Victor takes full responsibility for his youthful actions. If anyone expresses or states in any form that D. Victor Hancock has had any other felony convictions other than what is posted herein, a defamation lawsuit will be filed against them in federal court, and the filing, along with the results, will be posted on the internet to expose whosoever shall make such a claim. Further, there are statutes on the books providing for both criminal and civil remedies for anyone who makes any statements which are not factual and accurate about another individual, which defames one's reputation and or interferes in commerce. We will pay a $100,000 reward for information about any such statements which leads to a successful prosecution of a civil or criminal action of such an accuser. In view of the flagrant use of unfounded and unsubstantiated statements made by people in this day and age, we must legally pursue any such individual who makes such liable statements to set an example, but we will not tolerate such violation of constitutional rights. We will even pursue an individual who has no assets and thinks that we will not sue. We will then execute the judgment, even against minimum wage if necessary, and we will attach a legal portion of their weekly paycheck until damages are satisfied. Also, the defendant will have to pay all of the cost we incur in tracking them down. As callous as this appears, something is needed in this age to deter this type of disgusting behavior. Now, let's take a look at who D. Victor Hancock really is. While Victor was incarcerated, he became JC of the Month. He became an executive member of the American Correctional Association. He established United Prisoners Holding Company, and he founded the Way of Humanity, which is a religious organization. United Prisoners Holding Company helped many inmates' families get off of welfare. The Way of Humanity has been operating for close to a half a century without one complaint. The Way of Humanity has a 501c3 status in good standing with the federal government. Mr. Hancock has always been transparent about his past. Virtually every individual and entity he has consulted for knew of his life's history prior to doing business with him. We have literally thousands of letters of recommendation and praise, as well as accolades, which were sent to Mr. Victor Hancock. Here we will share some excerpts from a few of them. Mr. Hancock has been invited to have dinner with the President of the United States and a few senators and congressmen. This has happened on more than one occasion with different presidents. Mr. Hancock has also been elected to a U.S. Senate committee for the purpose of Victor Hancock representing the state he lived in at the time. An article appeared in the Las Vegas Review-Journal newspaper in the Nevadan Personalities section on Sunday, May 20th, 1984. Mr. Hancock was contacted and asked to be interviewed for a multi-page story, and freely did so. Risking not to seem braggadocious, it is clear that D. Victor Hancock must have led an exemplary life for the following to occur. Every letter, every accolade, every recommendation you see in this video occurred after Mr. Hancock's jail time as a youth and with the full knowledge of everyone. It is common knowledge that most committees and task forces recruit individuals who are donors, as well as participants in the committee or task force. The same goes for the arts organizations Mr. Hancock has served in. A letter to Mr. Hancock from President George H.W. Bush's Republican Presidential Task Force. Dear Mr. Hancock, it's not every day you're called upon to serve the President of the United States. So let me be the first to congratulate you. Mr. Hancock, you were nominated by the Executive Committee, which includes every Republican member of the U.S. Senate and President Bush, to serve as a member of George Bush's Republican Presidential Task Force. As soon as the committee approved your nomination, President Bush directed me to write you immediately. Remember, only this country's finest and most committed citizens are invited to join the task force. In fact, one of Ronald Reagan's final acts as president was to sit down and write his own personal check to George Bush's Republican Presidential Task Force, a replica which is enclosed. George Bush is doing his part, Ronald Reagan has done his, and now we need you to do yours. When Al Gore was running for president, Victor Hancock, on the left, was called upon to provide security. Mr. Hancock also provided security for Governor Richard Bryan at the Governor's Ball. Well, let's go back before President Bush to President Ronald Reagan. Howard H. Baker, Jr., on January 25, 1988, invited Mr. Victor Hancock to accept membership in the Republican Senatorial Inner Circle and join President Reagan for dinner on March 15th. Senator Rudy Boswich placed your name in nomination because he believes your accomplishments and your commitment to our party prove you worthy of membership in this most prestigious of organizations. Our next business meeting will be held on March 14th and 15th and will be highlighted by a private dinner with the President on the evening of the 15th. Leaders such as Secretary of the Treasury James Baker, Secretary of Defense Frank Carlucci, Secretary of State George Shultz, and Senator Pete Domenici are among the speakers who have been invited to brief the Inner Circle in person. There are enough political accolades to go on for days, including offers to give Mr. Hancock a pardon and expunge his record, which Victor turned down because he believed in transparency. There are so many hundreds of letters of accolades from the business community across the United States, and if you're not asleep by now, you're probably getting fidgety, so we will go quickly here. An accountant enrolled to practice before the IRS. I use your advice with my clients. Your teaching of motivation is phenomenal. Your ability to address situations and turn them in a desired direction is uncanny. With you, I've been able to enhance my business tremendously. Your consultation is an intrinsic part of my business. With your consultation, my clients solve problems within hours and sometimes minutes. The Cable Beach Hotel, Nassau, Bahamas, a Wyndham resort. This letter is to express our appreciation for your expertise, advice, and assistance concerning most important security matters at the Cable Beach Hotel and Casino here in Nassau. You have our recommendation as a most competent and effective detective. American National Insurance Company. God gave me life, but Dan Hancock gave it purpose and meaning. I thank God for this. Gary L. Winkle, Staff Manager. Basin Coach, Texas. We have experienced an actual positive production increase. The Dan Hancock investment has been the best financial investment made, dollar for dollar, in instruction in the 20 years in the business world. We recommend Dan Hancock. John Hancock Life Insurance Company. Knowing how many of the management, ideas have failed in the past to rejuvenate our salespeople that were in sales slumps, we reluctantly agreed to attend your seminar. Being a Christian, I know only God can make miracles happen, but my friend, you are running a close second place. I am seeing my people obtain new highs in activity and sales results, and they tell me, I quote, "Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet." University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Sports Marketing. Dear Victor, thank you for meeting with our team Tuesday morning. We look forward to putting new standards of knowledge to work. Bruce Reynolds, Southland Life Insurance Company. I hope this letter makes sense because at this moment my mind is cluttered with dollar signs, all of which were made possible by Hancock. Thank you, Mr. Hancock, for taking my money from me and giving me something far greater. I am now the confident, self-assured, self-admiring person I've always wanted to be. Frank Childs, Vice President and General Manager, KOZA Radio, Texas. Hancock's consulting resulted in one young man almost doubling his output. We had sent him to Dallas to a Radio Advertising Bureau sales seminar at a much greater expense. The results speak for themselves. We recommend Mr. Hancock. We are continuing monthly consultation with Mr. Hancock. Sims Office Machines, Jerry Sims, President. Mr. Hancock's consulting has had the most positive influence on my life and business that I have ever experienced. Mr. Hancock is a gifted teacher of people. I only wish he had the opportunity to teach every person living. I can't even start to imagine the wonderful impact it would have in our society. International Boxing Hall of Fame, Las Vegas, Nevada. Congratulations, Mr. Hancock. Please accept this letter as documentation of your appointment as my executive financial consultant. Ronald J. Thomas, General Manager, Wynwood Mall, Texas. Mr. Dan Hancock has held several motivation seminars and training classes at Wynwood Mall involving many businesses as well as many private citizens. Mr. Hancock has had 100% success with the students he has taught. We recommend that Mr. Hancock is a man who will keep his word and who is quite proficient at his profession. We recommend his services and have heard nothing but satisfied comments of success regarding his class taught at Wynwood Mall. D. Victor Hancock has been mentored by Mr. O, a recluse billionaire, for many years. In fact, Mr. Hancock's success has been a direct result of consulting from Mr. O. Mr. Hancock, having been a public speaker for many years, got a lucrative contract, verbal but solid, from Mr. O to do voiceovers, synthesize his voice so that when Mr. O speaks into a mic, Victor's voice is heard. Mr. O could have used SightPal or any number of services that do the same thing, but Victor convinced Mr. O to use his voice, for which Victor receives a handsome monthly fee. The weirdest thing about this job is that both Mr. O and Victor do speaking for videos, webinars, etc. Both Victor and Mr. O have participated in this video. Victor says that when he is actually speaking, it is weird because it sounds exactly like Mr. O. Following his mentor, D. Victor Hancock has also become a recluse.